The war in Ukraine is still raging. June 8, 2026. Lyman direction, Signum Battalion. New Russian troops arrive, move into the forest, try to dig in. They think the trees will hide them. They think they'll have time to prepare. They don't. FPV drones find them before they finish their first position. Fast, precise, no warning. The same mistakes as the soldiers who came before them. The same outcome. Every new wave learns the same lesson, but the lesson never reaches the commanders sending them. Another wave will come tomorrow. They will learn it too. In this sector, the drones decide who moves and who doesn't. A Russian soldier walking toward danger, one step at a time, completely unaware. Rubaka unit tracking him along a frontline path from above. What he doesn't know is what's waiting ahead. A pressure-activated explosive, already positioned on the route. The operators watch as he approaches. The moment he reaches it, it detonates. Roads and paths on this front are no longer just routes. They are part of the battlefield, mined, monitored, and triggered remotely. A Magyar Birds drone operator spotted a lone Russian soldier walking toward Ukrainian defensive positions, just meters ahead. He had no idea where he was going. When he finally saw the drone, he raised his rifle. He never got to fire it. Two Russian soldiers moving toward a tree line, spotted by reconnaissance drones before they sense any threat. An FPV is already dispatched. The soldier at the front sees it closing in fast and drops to the ground instead of raising his weapon. A natural instinct. Make yourself smaller, reduce the target. But against an FPV at that speed and angle, lying flat changes very little. On this front, the instinct to drop rarely buys what a soldier hopes it will. The drone doesn't need a standing target. A Russian soldier on a rooftop, waving a flag in broad daylight. Whatever the reason, proving to commanders the position was taken, marking territory, or simply a complete absence of drone awareness. The result is the same. A flag visible from above, on a building, in a drone-saturated sector. Dozens of Ukrainian drones arrive. The building doesn't survive. This is the discipline gap on full display. While experienced frontline units move in small groups, use camouflage nets, and stage underground. This soldier stood on a rooftop with a flag. When soldiers wave flags from rooftops in active drone zones, is this a failure of training, command pressure, or something else entirely? In this footage, a Russian soldier moving alone in southern Donetsk is spotted by Magyar Birds drone operators. He stays calm, but his movements give him away. Scanning, slowing down, looking for somewhere to disappear. He knows something is above him. An FPV is already dispatched. He finds cover under the trees. It isn't enough. When a soldier stays calm and still chooses the wrong cover, does composure on this front actually change anything? 4 Russian soldiers advancing in the Pokrovsk direction, spread wide apart, keeping distance between each other. The right instinct. If a drone finds one, the others have a chance. 4 FPV drones were dispatched, one for each soldier, simultaneously. The tactic that was supposed to limit casualties didn't account for a unit with enough drones to cover every target at once. None of the 4 could defend themselves. None escaped. When spreading out is the correct tactic, but 4 drones arrive for 4 soldiers. What formation actually works against a fully saturated drone operator? This was one of the unusual moments on the front line. Russian soldiers were moving behind a vehicle when they hit a bump, causing the vehicle to jump. One of the soldiers riding on the back was thrown off as the vehicle went airborne. 2 Russian soldiers moving. Reconnaissance drones already tracking them without their knowledge. They walk for a while, unaware. Then they spot the drone and make a decision. Hide in the bushes, the worst choice they could have made. A moving target is harder to strike precisely. A stationary target in a bush is not. The FPV was already on its way before they finished hiding. Open terrain is the most dangerous ground on this front, but stopping and hiding can be just as fatal. When moving is dangerous and hiding is equally dangerous, what option does a soldier actually have on this front? Ukraine's 132nd Reconnaissance Battalion, fiber-optic FPV drones targeting Russian soldiers wandering through the Pokrovsk direction. No signal to jam, no warning to react to. Soldiers moving without purpose, alone, through a sector that already has them tracked. This is the pattern that repeats every day on this front. Soldiers arrive, wander, and encounter a drone before they find a position worth holding. The fiber-optic connection means electronic warfare changes nothing. Ryazan Oblast, deep inside Russia. A civilian filming as a Ukrainian long-range UAV strikes the Protasovo airfield, over 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border. A military airfield recorded from the ground by someone watching it burn. When Ukrainian drones reach military airfields in Ryazan Oblast, is there a location inside Russia that's actually beyond drone range? The Chongar Bridge, one of the primary crossing points on the land route to Crimea. Ukrainian FP2 drones struck it directly. Every vehicle that can't cross here is fuel, ammunition, and personnel that doesn't reach the peninsula. Crimea is already under pressure from the air and in its fuel supply. Now one less crossing. Latvia. A civilian films a French Rafale intercepting and shooting down a Russian drone that entered NATO airspace from Russia. A Russian drone crossing an international border, and a NATO ally's fighter jet answering. When Russian drones enter NATO airspace and allied jets respond. Where exactly is the line between a drone incident and a direct confrontation? South Slobozansky direction. Hart Brigade drone operators scanning a tree line and finding more than expected. A tank, an artillery gun, a radar system, and transport vehicles, all concealed under vegetation. Russian forces counting on the green cover to make them invisible from above. It didn't. Every position struck. Personnel attempting to push north through Kharkiv Oblast, also targeted in the same operation. When a tank, artillery, radar, and transport are all hidden under the same tree line and all found anyway. Does vegetation still offer any real concealment on this front? The war in the sky never stops. Lyman direction. Ukraine's 60th Mechanized Brigade, Russian strike and reconnaissance drones intercepted and taken down. Every reconnaissance drone destroyed is targeting data that never reaches Russian artillery. Every strike drone stopped is a position that doesn't get hit. The air battle above this front runs parallel to everything happening on the ground, and it never pauses. When ground units are also intercepting drones above the front line. How many layers of the drone war are actually running simultaneously on this battlefield? One night, Ukraine's Unmanned Systems Forces Birds unit, and the target list for this operation is extensive. 2 air defense systems destroyed, 6 power substations taken out, 10 communication towers struck, locomotives and fuel tankers hit, logistics infrastructure across multiple regions eliminated. But the standout target of the night was the Terek Cossack Reconnaissance and Assault Brigade's personnel concentration in Shastia, Luhansk Oblast, 100 kilometers from the front line. 4 buildings destroyed. The brigade headquarters, a medical post, barracks, and rear support facilities, all struck in a single operation involving nearly 40 drones. The brigade commander's command post eliminated. No headquarters, no medical support, no third company. We know the scale of the damage because Russian soldiers recorded it themselves. When a brigade loses its headquarters, medical post, and command structure in a single overnight strike, how does it function the next morning? Pokrovsk direction, 1st Battalion, 152nd Separate Jaeger Brigade, Russian ambush drones found on the ground and destroyed with drone-dropped munitions before they could activate. A drone destroying other drones, not in the air, on the ground, before they ever launch. Every ambush drone neutralized here is a strike that never happens, a route that stays open, a soldier who doesn't trigger something waiting in the grass. when drones are used to destroy other drones before they activate? Is proactive drone clearance now as important as frontline strikes? That's everything for today. June 8th, 2026, day 1565 of this war. Russian total losses have now crossed 1,373,620 personnel, with 1,350 casualties in the last 24 hours alone. Over the past day, 196 combat engagements were recorded, with the heaviest fighting continuing in the Pokrovsk sector. On the deep strike front, Ukrainian drones disrupted operations at Sochi airport overnight, leaving thousands of passengers stranded. The Chongar bridge on the Crimea land corridor was struck by FP-2 drones. A Ukrainian long-range UAV reached the Protasovo military airfield in Ryazan Oblast, over 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border. And a Russian drone that entered Latvian airspace was intercepted and downed by a French Rafale inside NATO territory. Russia's Sochi airport disruption is a reminder that this war no longer has a safe rear area, not for military targets, not for infrastructure, and increasingly not for civilian aviation. The front holds. The drone war never stops. Subscribe for daily Frontline coverage. No agenda, just the facts. See you in the next one.